Well, hello YouTube. It's been a while since I've done a tabletop. I just wanted to cover my never-ending quest for the perfect summertime concealed carry firearm. I actually went originally with a Glock 26 a few years ago, actually a number of years ago. I guess you could call me a Glock fanboy. But because of the thickness, the pocket carrier inside the waistband options, that wasn't working for me, so I went with the Car PM9. That came out before the CM9. Paid top dollar for the PM9 when that came out. Didn't like the long trigger pull. It was a small gun, smallest of the micro 9mm pistols. And I progressed to the SIG P938. Which I then sold, and I was on my way to pick up a Glock 43, and lo and behold, I ended up with a Ruger LC9s Pro, which I will talk about here. Just for size reference, I have my Glock 19 out on the table. Everyone kind of knows what that looks like. So let me put the camera down, avoid the camera jiggle, and we'll talk about my Ruger. Okay, so as I said, on my way to get the Glock 43, I ended up with the Ruger LC9s Pro. Friend of mine at a gun store, retail gun store, called me to tell me that they had them in, the Glock 43s. So off I went, hurrying over. And this is early summer 2015, so the Glock 43 hasn't been out much. So they were still asking for that $475, $500 price point. I'm hoping that does come down, and I said, well, let me look at the let me compare the trigger pull from the Ruger to the M&P Shield to the Glock 43, because they had all three at the store, and obviously this is what I came away with when all things were considered. But real quick, I did go from the Car PM9. I don't have it with me to show you mine because I sold that, as I said, but that is the smallest pistol. I do have some dimensions real quick. I won't bore you too much because you can get this off the internet. The Car PM9, I think, was with the empty mag, was the lightest at 16 ounces. The slide width was 0.9, and the frame over the trigger guard area was 0.91. I then moved on to the SIG. That was about the same weight, even though it had an aluminum frame and a stainless steel slide. That was about 17 ounces. And the frame measured over the controls was 1.1 inches. I kicked myself. I didn't measure and record my own measurement of the slide, so I can't give you what the slide width was. Both the Car PM9 and the SIG P938, I bought this new for $575. I bought this used for $575. Quite a few years apart, but nonetheless, close to $600 for those firearms. You can get the CM9 for less money, but this is not a car review. Being the Glock fanboy that I was, incidentally, let's safety check these. Nothing in the chamber, no magazine in the firearm, nothing in the chamber. I'm sorry, you probably can't see that. I'm not left-handed, and nothing in the no magazine in the firearm. So the LC9s Pro, Glock 43, and M&P Shield are all the rage in terms of comparing these on the internet. You can get the measurements. I think the best review I saw was none other than Hitcock45. He has a nice little chart with the various weights and measurements comparing the three. The LC9s Pro of the three had the slimmest frame. The slide width was 0.9 on the LC9s Pro. The Glock 43 was 0.87, was a little bit thinner actually on the slide. The M&P Shield slide was 0.9, but the frame width was narrowest with this LC9s Pro. Came in at 0.9, identical to the slide width, whereas the Glock was slightly thicker at 0.91, if 1/100th of an inch. And but the M&P Shield was almost a full 1/10 of an inch thicker at 0.97 in the frame width. Another thing that the measurement that people don't really show, and I can't put calibers to the 43 or the Shield, is the grip width. In my opinion, it is thinner. When you hold all three pistols, as I was able to do in the retail store, the grip width is thinner on the LC9s Pro, giving you that perception, if you will, of a thinner pistol. Of course, you know from looking at other videos, I'm sure didn't beat the market to videos on this. The Glock 43 is a 6+1, and the LC9s Pro is 7+1, as is the M&P Shield 7+1. So one of the things, so I went with the LC9s Pro, and I'll tell you why. It was because of, again, double check it, and I'm not left-handed, so bear with me. Here's the trigger brake. That was the take-up trigger brake, very crisp. It measures at 4.4 ounces. Unbelievably crisp trigger brake. And then the reset, see if I can show you, not being left-handed, I sometimes pop this out too quickly, letting it off easy. It's not very audible, so I'll shut up. I don't know if you could hear that on the camera, but that was it. And then the brake. So it's got a little bit long reset, for those of you that like that fast action shooting in terms of concealed carry firearm. It's not that critical to me, is where I'm babbling about. So the cost of the LC9s Pro was $320 retail. And the M&P Shield in the store was at $350. So both of those pistols spanked the Glock 43 in terms of cost. And I think both those pistols, either the Shield or the Ruger, are equal, if not better, excuse me, than the Glock 43. I do not like that Glock sight picture with the little U plastic sights and all, so I prefer a 3-dot picture to begin with. And actually the M&P Shield's 3 dots were slightly bigger, and I liked those better, but I couldn't get past the fact that I loved the trigger pull on the Ruger. I've been told the M&P Shield, I didn't have a trigger gauge at the store. That trigger weight is around 7 pounds. And this was, this I did measure at 4.4 pounds after I brought it home. So far superior trigger here. I did put some Talon Grips, little plug. I put some Talon Grips on it, not because of the width, because it didn't really add anything to the width. It just helps me fit it in the hand, get that grip. Thus the name Talon Grips. Duh. Big improvement I did though. Again, this was a $320 pistol. It had steel sights, 3-dot sights, but they were small. I won't lie, I did not like those sights as much as, say, the Smith & Wesson Shield. But I was able to get, I'd heard about these, I've not used these before, the True Glow Tritium fiber optic sights, and what that TFO stands for is Tritium fiber optic. They're obviously fiber optic, you can see here, for daytime shooting, picks up that sunlight, glows quite well. And then at night, there's tritium inserts in front of the fiber optic that are always glowing, but at night it illuminates, if you will, the fiber optics, and you get a good nighttime picture. You know, some would say they prefer a laser on their Ruger for defensive carry at night, overnight sights. That's a personal choice. I am perfectly happy and prefer night sights. I do say, though, I do prefer, and I've talked about this before, my Glock 19, the Trigicon high def night sights. They have tritium inserts, nice U-notch in the back, and then a very daytime bright orange captures the eye, and you have no problem picking up the target, the sight picture rather, there. So they don't make those for the Ruger LC9s. And matter of fact, I think the only ones I was able to readily find were the True Glow TFOs and XS Big Dot. And I do not like the XS Big Dot with the nice big white dot with the tritium insert, and then a vertical line for the rear sight, and you just kind of dot the eye, as they say. That's not a sight picture that appeals to me. So really, the Glock 43 was losing because, you know, Glocks have that plastic sights with the little U, white U, and there's no night sight capability, and it was a more expensive firearm. Bang. No brainer in my opinion. Plus, the Glock 43 was a 6+1. Ruger is a 7+1 with the flush mag. It does make it probably that much taller in terms of height. I did in the store do that. Again, Glock Hickok 45 shows you the comparison of the Glock to a number of these pistols. I highly recommend that video for those of you seriously choosing. Ruger sells, and I was able to pick this up for $30, a 9-round magazine for that. Now, obviously, that makes it a huge, long grip, but for 9 rounds as your backup pocket magazine you're carrying in the pocket, you cannot beat that. Ruger only comes with 1 magazine, and it comes with a little pinky extension for something to hang your pinky on, or a flush plate, but there's only 1 magazine, and you can, depending on your personal preference, put the swap out the bottom plate on the magazine to for your grip. As you can see, it does give a place for that pinky to hang. I'm not all that worried about that. I prefer when I am inside the waistband carrying or pocket carrying, not using this finger extension floor plate on my magazine. I'm going with the flush fitting. Very easy to swap out. You take your little Glock tool, press that little button right there, slide it off without letting it fly out, and then swapping the other one back on. Very easy to swap out. Don't know what much else to say other than the comparable in price to the Shield. The Shield's about $30 more, but lo and behold, either this magazine or this magazine, they were both $30. So you throw in $30 and you've got your two magazines, 7-round capacity, Ruger LC9s Pro. So very comparable to the Shield in that regard. Shield also does not have night sights, so you would need to replace those. I think I mentioned these were $89 Midway USA, and you do need a sight pusher to get that out. This isn't going to be there's videos on YouTube on how to install these on your Ruger LC9s Pro, or take it to a gunsmith and they can do it at a charge. Holsters real quick. I love this for pocket carry. It covers the trigger guard. You draw it out of the pocket, catch this on the edge of your pocket, and it snaps out. It's kind of hard to demonstrate without it being in the pocket. So that great pocket, I can't remember the name of the company that makes these. They have a YouTube website. I'll try to put that in the comments below. Of course, you have a plethora of LC9. It takes the same LC9, LC9s and LC9s Pro, all fit in the same holsters. This is an inside the waistband tuckable holster for that, little Kydex holster. And then, of course, for when I'm at the range, I like to have a belt carry when I'm just plinking. So I have this holster, but when I'm carrying, it's usually inside the waistband, easily concealable. I mean, that just disappears, and you don't notice it, how thin this is. You don't notice this on your hip, really. And oh, and the M&P Shield, I didn't like its trigger as much. I don't know if I mentioned that when I'm explaining the reasons why I went with the LC9s Pro. I've never owned a Shield or an M&P product line, so I'm not knowledgeable about those. They say the takedown on the Ruger LC9s Pro has got that extra step, and it bothers some people. It doesn't bother me at all. You just pop this down, very easy to pop down. You're supposed to discharge it again. It's a safety check. You would discharge it, bring it back a little, and then there's a pin. You just take anything, a toothpick for that matter, and you, whoops, I'm sorry, I'm not on camera, and I'm not able to do that and stay on camera. Oh, there you go. Pin came out, and then the slide comes right off. So it's, you know, yes, you need a tool, but am I in the field in a firefight worrying about field stripping my pistol to clean it? No, I don't think so. So that's pretty much what I had to cover on this. The assembly is very simple. I like to stick the same end in first, drop that in, push the slide up. Don't forget to push that up. That would be a potential for a catastrophic failure eventually when that pin falls out. And safety check. And the gun works. Works for me. It's my new Glock 43. Thanks for watching.